crypto market is in meltdown mode. Bitcoin suddenly spiraling today, down more than 10%, hitting its lowest level in a year. This after what's been a quiet few months for crypto. Our crypto baller BK's over at the Plasma to tell us exactly what is going on. BK.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. So after some real quiet period, lowest volatility almost in Bitcoin history, all of a sudden today things exploded. So what happened? So Bitcoin Cash, which is the one that forked off of Bitcoin last year, is doing a hard fork. What's a hard fork? It's effectively a software upgrade. That's the easiest way to think about it. Now, when you do a software upgrade, everybody usually agrees. But in this particular case, everybody is not agreeing about what that software upgrade should be. So we've got ourselves a crypto civil war is what they're calling it here, and that has people in the market concerned. So what happened today? People are concerned that both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash markets, their networks might slow down, they might not work as well, that software upgrade might not go through, or if it does go through, we'll end up with some chaos. People started selling, that triggered stops. Everybody got concerned, and that's what happened today. The entire market sold down. In my view, very short-term type of event. I think it's probably an opportunity. In fact, we did some buying at my fund today. Let's just take a look at the charts here. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. Like I said, I mean, there's just nothing going on. I was falling asleep back then. Then all of a sudden today, it falls apart, breaks through the year's lows down to 5,500. You know what I thought was interesting, though? Take a look at the other one here, Ethereum. That's the next chart that we have there. Here we go. Yes, let's take a look at Ethereum. Well, you know what's interesting with Ethereum is it was going sideways, but today it actually had better performance than Bitcoin. It outperformed Bitcoin, particularly on the upside. So if you're looking to play this and you don't understand the hard fork, and I would say if you don't understand what a hard fork is, do not jump into that pool right now. It is the deep end. But take a look at Ethereum. Might be interesting. That's something I bought today.
All right, Beeks, thank you. Why don't you come on over? And by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, our Bitcoin bug is now new and improved because we don't just feature Bitcoin. We're actually rotating through all the major cryptocurrencies so you can keep track of how they're doing right now as we speak. Well, let's bring in Meltem Demirors, Coinshare's Chief Strategy Officer, for more on what has been a very rough ride for the crypto universe. Meltem, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here. Not a great day, maybe, but
no, it's a terrible day if you're long any of these cryptos. BK was saying this is a short-term selling event. Is there a catalyst to the upside after this?
Absolutely. I think what we're seeing, as BK pointed out, we had 6 months of Bitcoin and a lot of other assets trading sideways. And I think there were just a number of events that piled up that led to this mass release, a sell-off. It happened this morning around 10 a.m. Eastern time. My view, it's probably some institutions, some funds deleveraging, taking some money off the table. Anytime there are forks, things tend to trade weird and strange. So I think people are trying to take some risk off the table. There are a number of exciting events coming up. In December, ICE's new subsidiary, Bakkt, is going to launch. It'll offer institutional Bitcoin trading services to start. That's a positive catalyst. We saw this last year with the futures that started trading in November. Those were the major catalysts that led to Bitcoin's run to 20,000. And then in January, we'll see Fidelity's new crypto custody arm starting to operate. So as they add new clients, maybe we'll see some of this institutional money actually materialize.
It doesn't sound like you think that Bitcoin is in a financial crisis, which is the exact wording of the notes that I got.
Yes.
What do you mean by Bitcoin is in a financial crisis? Because that sounds terrible. It doesn't sound like there would be any catalyst for an asset in financial crisis.
Absolutely. So I think Bitcoin is the asset that's held strength. It's over 50% market dominance right now. I think all other assets that are not Bitcoin are in the midst of a liquidity crisis. What we're seeing across the board is asset prices are down 75% or more, in some cases 95%, very thinly traded. Over 80% of the assets in the market today had less than $10 million in monthly trading volume. Really thinly traded, basically no activity. And I think we're now at a point where projects are running out of money. They're going to need to start firing employees. They're going to need to cut costs. We're going to see consolidation. And some of these assets inevitably will get marked to zero. After all, this is a speculator's game at the long tail of the crypto asset bubble. And we're starting to see this come to fruition now.
So I have a question. So we're whipping through all these ones on our new ticker here, all the different names.
Sure.
Are you saying these kind of the bigger ones, let's call them the top 10 in market cap, and I know that's somewhat controversial metric, but are those going to get marked to zero, or are we talking about names that maybe we haven't heard about, we don't talk a lot about here?
Sure, I still think it's anyone's game. A lot of those top 10 assets are fairly early in their life cycle. As we've talked about before, during the dot-com bubble, I wasn't there, but we saw, companies in 2000 were trading at 75% to the low of their all-time high, and that persisted for a long time. And some of those companies inevitably went out of business. But what I think is the more interesting metric is during the dot-com boom, companies that were created in the first 6 years were the ones that survive, which to me indicate there is a first-mover advantage in the crypto game, which is why I think we've seen Bitcoin, which just hit its 10-year anniversary, has performed fairly well over time.
So what happened today? How much volume did Bitcoin trade versus, the average over the last couple of weeks?
Absolutely. So it's difficult to tell. So there's publicly traded Bitcoin markets. So liquidity on those markets today was $6 billion, but there's a lot of OTC volume that's not accounted for. And a lot of reports have also documented some of the challenges of getting precise numbers, which make it difficult to look at day-to-day flow. But it was a 2x uptick, so not a material amount of movement. But to BK's point over there on the plasma, as I believe it was called, we saw a lot of people who had shorts or other positions out that got liquidated, saw those positions called. And I think when that starts to happen, people look at the risk across the board in their portfolio, their allocation mix, and they probably want to take money off the table. Another analog, BlackRock, for the first time this quarter, saw outflows. First time in 3 years, we're its largest asset manager. So I think that's an important sign as well, that this isn't just a crypto thing. I think in the broader market, there's just a lot of uncertainty and fear.
All right, Meltem, thank you so much. Meltem Demirors of Coinshares. I'm curious.
Paying attention, at least.
Yeah, totally.
In terms of
to all
smart
parts
board
of the
plasma.
show. Yeah,
Right.
the controversy. That's another civil war brewing in and of itself.
Curiosity, go ahead.
If you looked at that chart,
Correct.
where we did nothing for so many months and then broke lower, what would you say?
One of the things I say all the time is the market doesn't give you a long time to sell the highs, and in terms of Bitcoin, and we discussed it, to buy the lows. And the fact that it was hovering around that 6,500, 6,000 level for so long indicated to me, the market's not going to give you 4 months to buy something at the bottom, which is why I thought we may take another leg down. Here we are now. So maybe you are seeing a capitulatory move to the downside. And I had one more thing. I know we're on. If you back out, and I know you can't do this, but if you were to back out the move from 7,500 to 20,000, just eliminate that and talk about Bitcoin now, you'd say this is a pretty healthy correction within a market that's done extraordinarily well over the last few years. The perception of it has changed because of what happened in December.